Handicapper Steve here, handicapping opening day from Santa Anita Park. It is Monday, the 26th of December, 2022. We're going to look at all the stakes races on the program from Santa Anita, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Let's look at the stakes action here on opening day from Santa Anita. Races 1, 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11. So we've got quite a few of them. 3 grade 1s on the card. Let's get to the opener, which is the Santa Anita Mathis Mile. It's a grade 2 event going for a $200,000 purse. Race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 7 horses stepping onto the turf course. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Santa Anita turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile here. And I show the diagram. It just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 6 horse here, Handy Dandy. I'm going to go 6157 in the superfecta. 6157 super. Top selection, the 6 horse, Handy Dandy. This 3-year-old gelding by Fury Capcori. Peter Miller trains. Joel Rosario gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 3rd of December at Del Mar. Mile Nathan, the grade 1 Hollywood Derby, and he finished 4th by 2 lengths that day. He sat back early, just had a little trouble trip on the inside and a little bumping in the lane. He just couldn't get there late, but, it was a very tough Hollywood Derby. Stepping down in class to this race today, to the grade 2, not the world's toughest race, I think he should get a good trip, and I think he could win here today. 2 back in the Let It Ride at Del Mar, 1 mile on the 11th of November. He won by a nose that day, and he sat back early after a very rambunctious pre-race where he broke through the gate before the race. But he got a little bit wide, and he got there in the nick of time late. It was an all-around good race there on the quick turnaround 2 weeks prior in the Twilight Derby at Santa Anita over the mile and 8th. He finished 4th by 1 3/4 lengths that day, and that day he was loaded in the lane, but just couldn't get out. Very trouble trip at the top of the lane. It wasn't his day to win. And then on Del Mar, mile 16th and optional 80, winning by a length from a tracking position, he won quite nicely. I like the booking of Rosario up, who could be very patient with this horse. I think he should get a good trip, and I think at 520 he's loaded. Let's take him here in the opener. So to recap my selection for the first race from Santa Anita, it is the Santa Anita Mathis Mile. Let's take the 6 horse Handy Dandy, 6157 super. Let's go 6-1 in the multi-race. Let's get to the third event now from Santa Anita, which is the San Gabriel Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a $200,000 purse, raced for 3-year-olds here and upwards. We have a field of, 7 horses going to the turf course again. The distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or the mile and 1/8 trip on the Santa Anita turf course. 1,800 meters, a mile and 1/8 here in the San Gabriel. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 2 horse Master of Foxhounds. Let's go 2-3-6-5 in the superfecta. 2-3-6-5 super. Top selection of 2 horse Master of Foxhounds. It's 5-year-old horse by Warfront. Phil Diamato trains. Mike Smith gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 26th November at Del Mar. Mile 16th in the Seabiscuit handicap, and he finished 3rd by neck that day. He ran his heart out that day, earning a 100 buyer. He set the pace at wicked fast fractions. He got caught late, but he ran his heart out, slowing it down to a mile and 1/8 back to Santa Anita, where he's run very well in the past. I'm going to give him another shot to win. 2 back in the John Henry Turf Championship here at Santa Anita on the 1st of October, over the mile and 1/4. He won by a neck that day, and on the front and all throughout, he didn't break so well. He stumbled there, but he got the job done. All around a good race, earning a 98 buyer, and then they took him to the Del Mar handicap at Del Mar over the mile 3/8. 3-turn mile and 1/8 from a wide post draw. He finished 5th by 3 1/4 lengths that day. He just dueling early on, which probably cost him late. And then the Eddie Reed, he finished 5th by 4 lengths over the mile and 1/8 at Del Mar. Off the bench, he needed the race, but he likes running here at Santa Anita a lot better than Del Mar. He's training well on the training track. At 2-1, I'm going to take him. Don't throw out the 3 horse here, Dicey Mocara, for Juan Hernandez and Leonard Powell. He might need a little bit more of a longer trip, but he could definitely, I think his buyers could definitely win here. 2 back in that John Henry, he finished 2nd by a neck, really closing up well behind Master Foxhounds, and then a very good 3rd in the Del Mar handicap over the mile 3/8. Big question is, can he go the mile and 1/8? He did win over this mile and 1/8 last year, but he had everything his own way at the front end. But I'm going to use him at 3-1 in the early pick 4, because I think he can get a piece of it. Definitely using your exactas there. But to recount my selection for the 3rd from Santa Anita, it is the San Gabriel. Let's take the 2 horse Master of Foxhounds. Give kudos to the 3 horse Dicey Mocara. 2-3-6-5 super. 2-3 in your multi race. The 6th event now from Santa Anita. It is the San Antonio Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a $200,000 purse. Races for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses going to the Del Mar main track. The distance of ground of 1,700 meters, with the distance of ground of a mile and 1/16 on the Santa Anita dirt track. 1,700 meters, a mile 1/16 here in the San Antonio kind of local prep race for the what do you call that, the Pegasus Cup in a few weeks time, and the beginning of their handicap division here at Santa Anita, which goes next into the San Pasquale, which goes into the Santa Anita handicap in March. But my top selection here, I'm going to go with the 6-horse Country Grammar. 6-5-2-3 for me in the Super. 6-5-2-3 Super. Top selection 6-horse Country Grammar. 5-year-old horse here by Tonalist. Bob Baffert trains. Frankie Dettori gets to mount. Frankie begins his world tour, his world tour of his farewell world tour here today. Good for him going out, and it's gonna be cool watching him ride stateside. He's gonna be based at Santa Anita, I think, but I believe he said he wants to travel around the states this winter, get more mounts and stuff, and get that Derby mount. Personally, I don't think he'll get it. You know, if he gets a Derby mount, that would be cool, but I think he's better off going home to the UK where he could ride for a Gaz, and he has a good one for the Guineas. And I can't see him giving up on a Guineas hopeful. But this Country Grammar, most recently, they ran the Awesome again at Santina, mile and eighth on the 1st of October, and he finished second by 1 1/4 lengths that day. And he just couldn't catch Defunded, who really took off clear late. This horse just kind of stalked him and just couldn't get him, but he ran his heart out there, refreshing off the break, coming here today. I think he's in a better spot to win. It's not the world's toughest race. Two back in the Pacific Classic at Del Mar, a mile and a quarter, 3rd of September. He finished second by 19 and a quarter lengths, behind Flightline. You know, he just stalked and just couldn't get there. It wasn't his day to win. Like it says in the comment line, best of the rest. He definitely was. Flightline wasn't there. He would have probably ran his heart out there for him, but he got beat by an incredible horse. And then before then, the San Diego Handicap at Del Mar, mile 16th, the 30th of July. Off the bench, he finished second by 2 1/4 lengths. He had a very wide post draw, and he just, he needed the race there. Before then, in the Dubai World Cup with Frankie up, he won by 1 3/4 lengths, and on the front end, he really took off clear. That was a very good run. And the Saudi Cup, he ran his heart out, finishing second that day by a neck. He just got caught by Emblem Road, but he, again, not a bad race from there. He looked like a winner in the lane, especially off the bench. His previous race was the 31st of May of 2021 at Santina, a mile and a quarter in the Hollywood Gold Cup, where he won by a head from track position. He took off clear. He might want a little bit longer trip later in the season, but I think today he could definitely win here. But if he doesn't win, the 5-horse Haywood's Beach, second likeliest winner for Ramon Vasquez and John Sadler. Most recently in the marathon, the Urban Aftercare Marathon at Keeneland over the mile 5/8, he finished second by 6 1/4 lengths that day. And he just kind of stalked, never really quickened up. Next really ran terrifically. Before that, locally in the Tokyo City Cup over the mile and a half, he won by a neck, and from a track position, he took off clear. And then the Del Mar handicap on the turf, he just wasn't really excelling. His dirt races have been a lot better run. He might want a little bit longer, but at 7-2, it wouldn't surprise me. We'll use him in the pick 4 that begins, or the pick 6 that begins with this race. But to recap my selections for the 6 from Santina, it is the San Antonio. Let's take the 6-horse Country Grammar. Give kudos to the 5-horse Haywood's Beach. 6-5-2-3 Super. 6-5 in your multi-race. To the 8th event now from Santa Anita. It is the Brea Stakes. It's a grade 1 event going for a $300,000 purse. Races for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field, let's see, of 8 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the 7-furlong trip on the Santa Anita main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs here. And I show the diagram, like I said. Just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. Excuse me. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 3-horse Ganadora. I'm going to go 3-4-1-8 in the superfecta. 3-4-1-8 super. Top selection, 3-horse Ganadora. 3-year-old filly by Quality Road. Bob Baffert trains. John Velazquez, again, riding the winter in Southern California, gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 18th of September at Los Al. 1 mile in the Dark Mirage Stakes, and he won by 8 lengths that day. And, he didn't break well. Juan Hernandez lost an iron, but he settled well after that, got into the front and set pedestrian fractions, and he got the job done. It was a very good race after all said and done. Coming off the bench, back to 7 furlongs, which I think this horse should like, or going 7 furlongs for the first time out of round one turn. I think the horse could get a better trip, and I think this horse could win again here today. They tried the horse routing two back on the 12th of June at Santa Anita, mile 16th in the Summertime Oaks, and he finished fourth by 12 1/4 lengths that day. He was with them early on, and then he just kind of hit the wall late. It wasn't getting the mile 16th. It wasn't the day to win. And then before that 10th of April at Santino, 6.5 and optional 50, he won by a nose. He stalked a fast pace that day, and he got there in nick of time. I thought it was a good race. And then 26th February at Santino, 6.5 and main special weight, won by 6 1/4. He took off clear late. That was a very impressive run. He's training well locally. I'm going to give this horse a cutback chance here. I think the 4-horse Midnight Memories, again for Bob Baffert, has a live chance. I have a Bob Baffert trifecta here. But most recently in the Zenyatta on the 2nd of October, he won by 3 1/4 lengths that day. And again, he didn't break well. Had to be quarter horse to the front end, dueled a little bit, but got there, got up with the rest late. It was a very good run. Before the Torrey Pines, the horse won by 3/4 length, and again, very pedestrian fractions won it for him. Cutting back and trip. Again, it wouldn't surprise me at 5-2. The workout patterns on this horse again have been very nicely done. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Santa Anita, it is the grade 1 La Brea. Let's take the 3-horse Ganadora. Give kudos to the 4-horse Midnight Memories. 3-4-1-8 Super. 3-4 in your multi-race. The featured 10th race now from Santa Anita. Basically, the 10th race is always the featured opening day race, and it's always one of those better races of the season, I think. It is the Malibu Stakes. It's a grade 1 event going for a $300,000 purse. Race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 9 horses going to the post. The distance of ground of 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs on the Del Mar main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs here in the Malibu. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 6-horse Tabia. I'm going to go 6-1-4-2 in the superfecta. 6-1-4-2 super. Top selection, 6-horse Tabia. This 3-year-old colt by Gunrunner. Bob Baffert trains. Mike Smith gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing in the Breeders' Cup Classic at Keeneland, 1.25 on the 5th of November, and he finished third by 8 3/4 lengths behind Flightline and Olympiad. This horse is just a little bit wide and just wasn't getting to the two in front of him, who just ran better, but he did gain ground late. I didn't think it was a half bad race, but the two in front were in front by a mile. Refreshing here to Southern California. Mike Smith we're looking for his 7th or 8th win in this race. Bob Baffert's won this race a couple times. I think he's in a good spot, and I think he could win. I thought early on in his career they just rushed him too much. I think with every single race since the Derby, I thought he's been improving quite a bit, and I think he's sitting on a very good run today. Two back in the Pennsylvania Derby at Parks, Monday, on the 24th of September. He won by 3 lengths that day, and again, he stalked, he got the lead, and he took off clear. A very good run, an improvement off the race before, which was the Haskell at Monmouth over the mile and the 8th. He finished second by a head. He just stalked, and Cyberknife just came back on him on the inside. He just, might have needed the race there, but again, a 101 buyer wasn't the world's worst race for him there. And then the Derby at Church over the 1.25 mile. He finished 12th by 17 3/4 lengths. Didn't break so well, he just wasn't comfortable there. I thought they were just asking too much too soon. He did freak in that Santa Anita Derby, but it wasn't the world's toughest race, and the horses haven't been really running quite well out of that race since then, except him after the Derby. He's really been running good. But coming here today, at 6-5, I'm going to give him a strong chance. You also have to give a shot to the 1-horse Forbidden Kingdom for Dick Mandela and Juan Hernandez. Biggest question with him is, since that Santa Anita Derby where he completely couldn't stay the trip, he hasn't run great. He's run good, but not great. Came back in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship where he needed the race. He finished 5th by 1 3/4 lengths there. He should have won last time out, but he just couldn't keep up. Maybe a little bit too fast to that half mile. They ran 108 and 1. He earned a career best 99 buyer, but he still should have showed something late. But before, his races before the Santa Anita Derby were great. He won the San Felipe very nicely by 5 3/4 lengths. Everything's own way on the front end. Came back before that to win the San Vicente over the 7 quite easily, and placed in the Bob Hope before that behind Messier. He's a decent horse. I think he should get a good trip. He's training well. I'm going to give him a shot here. And also the 4-horse Nakatomi for Wesley Ward and Tyler Gaffleone. Most recently on the 5th of November over the 6.5, he won by 8.5 lengths, half a length that day. And on the front end, from a tracking position, he took off clear. Before in the Gallant Bob, I thought he just had a little bit of a very wide trip, which cost him, but he was gaining there. And then before that, over the 5.5 in June at Churchill, he won quite nicely. He's only making his 4th start of the season, but he's he's definitely been on the improve. I'm going to give him a shot here. Is he as fast as Tabia? Probably, on paper, no, but you never know on the race day. I'll give him a shot here, like I said, in that late pick 4, and also with my late double here. But to recap my selection for the 10th from Santa Anita, it is the Malibu. Let's take the 6-horse Tabia. Give kudos to the 1-horse Forbidden Kingdom and the 4-horse here, Nakatomi. 6142 Super, 614 in your multi-race. The 11th race now from Santa Anita. It is the American Oaks. It's a Grade 1 event going for a $300,000 purse. Race for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field of, let's see, it's 11 horses going to the Hillside Turf Course, the distance of ground of 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the Santa Anita Hillside Turf Course. 2,000 meters, 1 mile, 1/4. I love these long distance races. Hopefully they run a lot more of them during the next year because they're fun races to handicap. My top selection, I'm going to go take the 2-horse Sparkle Blue. 2956 for me in the superfecta. 2956 Super. Top selection 2-horse Sparkle Blue. 3 by Hard Spun. Grand Motion Trains. Joel Rosario gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 28th of October at Keeneland. Good ground, a mile 16th in the Valley View, and he won by 2.5 lengths that day. And from a tracking trip, he stalked, he got the lead, he quickened up nicely, and he took off clear. I thought that was a very good run. Come to a mile and a quarter, should get a good trip from tracking position. I think he's going to get a good race and win. 2 back in the Virginia Oaks at Colonial, mile 8th inner turf course, 6th of September. He finished second by 1.25 lengths that day, and he had a very wide trip throughout. He just couldn't catch the winner who outgamed him. But again, he ran his heart out there. And the Christiana at Delaware over the mile 16th, 2nd of July, he won by a half length and again took off clear from a tracking trip. He ran here in Southern California last year at Del Mar. Ran the Jimmy Durante over the mile on the 27th of November last year at Del Mar, where he finished 10th by 20.5 lengths that day. He was very wide, which cost him 10-11 going a mile. Del Mar is very hard to win by. He just didn't win there, asking too much too soon. But before then, Optional 80, he won by a length and had a dream trip when he got the lead at the top of the lane. That was basically the gates open and he took off clear. He's training well locally. I like that they had a workout under him since coming from the East Coast. 8-1, I think this horse has a strong chance. The 9-horse Salama is your second likeliest winner. 3-year-old Philip L. Bar. Chad Brown trains. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. Most recently in the Winter Memories at Aqueduct, mile 16th on a yielding outer turf course. He won by 3 lengths that day, and he sat back early, a little bit wide, but he took off clear in the lane. Something to keep in mind, those turf courses at Aqueduct towards the end of November, early December, plays weird at times, but he took off clear there. Before that at Aqueduct, mile 16th on the 30th of September in an allowance race, he won by a length that day, and again, a little bit wide late, but he came back from nowhere to win. He's another horse going to a mile and a quarter should suit well. At 7-2, let's use him here in the multi-race scenario. But to recount my selection for the nightcap, the 11th race here on opening day from Santa Anita, it's the Grade 1 American Oaks. Let's take the 2-horse Sparkle Blue. Give kudos to the 9-horse Salama, 2956 Super, 29 your multi-race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.